Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to be trying to trace and rectify an intermittent fault where the car is getting to temperature but I'm losing power and getting backfiring. So I've got the car out and we're doing a bit of a test drive. Now I've added these illuminated plug sensors again, and I've got the GoPro which I'm actually going to stick under there. Well, here we are, just as I thought. She was running okay. Heading home, it's just started doing the same thing again. So I've got a backfire, then loss of power. It seems to tick over fine. So typically it all sort of kicks off after I've removed those illuminated plug check lights. And as I was taking them off, one of them broke as well. So I've just popped 3 back on. I'm going to get the GoPro back in there again and get back and let's see what's all recorded. Now the last bit of video proved that having these spark light extenders on showing that there was some sort of fault there when temperature came up. So the next stage would be to fit them on the other bank, the issue being that there isn't enough space to be able to put that on and then the leads on. So what I've basically got to do is switch over the coils. Although I've got one distributor, I've got 2 coils. So I've got 2 of these cables coming out and 2 here. So I need to switch them over, reattach these to this rear bank, put the camera back on again and see if switching over highlights anything. Now the white cable that's coming off the distributor and down to the coil pack is a distributor impulse unit which sits inside the distributor. Really I've got to try and get onto these clips and unplug that, but access is somewhat limited, so this should be fun. So need to get it warmed up again, another test drive. Let's see what records down here. So we're back from that second test drive and that really didn't flag anything up at all. The problem didn't replicate itself. So I think it's time to dig a bit deeper and have a look at that ignition system. So I decided to pull all the leads and the distributor cap out for a bit of a closer inspection. The inside of the cap itself looks reasonably clean. Again, I will clean up all these pickup points. With the coils out now, it's a bit easier to see what's going on. As you can see, they're in a bit of a state. I've tried to give this one a bit of a clean up. Now, the way I understand that this works is we have the impulse unit from the distributor. So this end is inside the distributor, and as the distributor is turning, it sends a signal through this cable, and one of them then is attached to an amplifier which sits under the coil. This amplifier then sends a signal up to the coil into the primary circuit. The job of the coil is to boost the voltage, which will then come out of the secondary, and this then obviously feeds back up to the distributor and on to the plugs. BAE 207A, as I understand, is the original coils, so quite possibly these are now over 40 years old. Again, these could be quite old as well. Obviously everything gets very hot in the back of the engine here, and this should have some thermal paste on the back of it. I've gone all out and bought all new kit. So I've got 2 of the HELLA amplifiers, part 051, so it looks exactly the same. And for the coils I've gone with the Pertronix flamethrowers. So again, black, looks like the original equipment apart from the flamethrower sticker which actually goes underneath. And I've gone with some rubber boots that they didn't have before, so this should protect all the connections on the end of the coil. Now I've shopped around a little bit. These I actually got from Superformance. The flamethrowers, oddly enough, I got through Amazon and they've come over from the States. And the amplifiers I got from an eBay shop. Only reason for shopping around is to save quite a bit of money. 1 down, 1 to go. It's starting to look pretty good. One part I've had to order and I've managed to find that on an eBay shop, but it's going to come from Germany. This is the radio noise suppression capacitor. The car has actually got 2 of these. One that sits on the coil like that, and then the other which sits, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, and it sits down on top of the fuel pump. This is the earth strap to the coils. This end is bolted onto one of the covers at the end of the cam on the front bank. At the other end, one of these attaches to each of the coil brackets. This one broken off completely, so there was no real earth going through that bracket, and this one's not looking too clever either. So I'm going to make those up again and hopefully create a good earth for the two coils. That's the new noise suppression capacitor fitted to the fuel pump, which means we can now start fitting these back into the car. So let's get them fitted. So everything's back together again, so we're all done. Or are we? So no sooner had I put everything back together again that I get a little bit of information to say that the HELLA amplifiers that I purchased, some people were experiencing some issues with them. And to top that, the flamethrower coils with their internal resistance of 1.5 ohms, which initially I took to be a good thing, are not compatible with this car, and it should be 0.8. So I'm going to stick with what I've done. I'm going to give the car a try. It may not start. If it does start, it may run a little bit lumpy, but it could be just down to that coil. If that's the case, I'm going to put the old coil back in and then see how it goes from there. So after all of that messing around, I have now gone back and put in the original coil and amplifier, got them all cleaned up, and then there's the repaired earth strap. Now it seems as though there is a batch problem with the HELLA amplifiers at the moment, so I'm going to send these ones back, and HELLA have been notified, so let's see what they say. I do need to say thank you to Andy and Adrian from the Ferrari chat forum, who have been great if you're watching. So now it's time to take it out for a test drive and see whether all of that cleaning and that just the earth strap repair has done the job. She's alive! Alive! Well, we've made it out. Car's warmed up, full of fuel, which in itself was a bit of a mission because there seems to be a bit of a shortage of V-Power and Ultimate kicking around, but I managed to get some. Also notice that where the temperature is dropping to single digits here, that it's starting to salt dirt roads. Now, salt and 70s steel, not a great mix, so I shall keep the test drive short, but we're up to temperature. I've done nearly 20 miles and the fault has not replicated itself. And she sounded lovely too. So the jury's still out on the warmer weather running, but so far it does look as though the cleaning of the contacts, repairing that earth strap has resolved the issue. So it just goes to show that before you spend money, sometimes it's just the simplest of things. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, cheerio.